Good morning, family. It's time for your morning juice. Today we're reading from the book of Joshua, chapters 5 and 6. Before Israel ever fought Jericho, God prepared them first. And that matters because many people want victory without preparation. They want breakthrough, the blessings, the promotion, the promise, without allowing God to deal with what's happening inside of them first. Now get this. Jericho had already shut its gates. No one came out, no one went in. The people were already afraid before Israel even arrived. Think about that for a second. For years, Israel feared the people in the land, while the people in that land were actually terrified of Israel's God. You see, fear has a way of distorting perspective. It can make you feel defeated while God has already gone before you. But before God gave Israel victory, he called them the consecration. The new generation had to be circumcised. Why? Because before conquest comes covenant. Before outward victory, God dealt with inward alignment. And people, honestly, this is still true today. People want God to move publicly while resisting private obedience. But God cares about alignment before achievement. Then something very important happens in the story. The manna stopped. For 40 years, God fed them in the wilderness, but now they were entering a different season. And sometimes God changes the way he provides. God, has a way of doing that, and people will panic the moment provision changes. But that change is not always punishment. Sometimes it's growth. God was teaching them how to live in a promise instead of surviving in the wilderness. Then Joshua encounters a man standing before him with a drawn sword. It was actually one of God's angels, but Joshua didn't know it at the time. And he boldly asked, "Are you for us or for our enemy?" And the response is powerful. Neither. In other words, God did not come to take sides. He came to establish his authority. That changes the perspective completely, doesn't it? Because the real question is not, is God on my side? The real question is, am I aligned with him? Then they march around Jericho. And notice what is at the center of it all. The priests, trumpets, and the Ark of the Covenant. Because this battle was never just about military strength. God's presence was at the center of the strategy. And sometimes God will ask you to do things that just don't make sense in the natural. Walk instead of attack, trust instead of panic, obey instead of forcing control. And on the seventh day, we know what happened. The walls fell. Not because Israel was stronger, not because their strategy looked impressive, not because they figured everything out. The walls fell because God was with them. And while judgment came to Jericho, remember the prostitute Rahab? She and her family were spared. Her one act of faithfulness, her one decision to trust God changed an entire family line forever. That's the power of surrender. Victory looks different when God is truly in the center of it. Not just success, not just achievement, not just getting what you want. Real victory is walking in alignment with God and watching him make a way that only he could create. Victory looks different, family, when God is at the center of it. Sip on that, and I'll talk with you tomorrow.